In our interconnected world, content collaboration across borders is revolutionizing the broadcasting industry. Uh, with global audiences becoming more accessible through digital platforms, broadcasters and content creators are partnering with international teams to produce and distribute content that transcends the geographical and cultural boundaries. This collaboration blends diverse storytelling styles, languages, cultural perspectives, leading to innovative content that resonates with global audiences. Global streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar Plus accelerates this trend, offering platforms for shows and films co-created by talent from different countries. Films like Lunchbox, where we had Anurag Kashyap and Andrew Braid, or Zoya Akhtar's Gully Boy with Nick Tuck are some successful examples of cross-border collaborations. In this session, we will analyze how such collaboration shapes the future of broadcasting, the challenges it presents, and the opportunities for innovation, creativity, and audience engagement worldwide. I would like to call upon our moderator, Gayatri Guliani, founder and CEO of Kilos Entertainment. And then I would like to call upon our speaker, Sean Amira, film director, and Ms. Anisha Rihana, co-founder, One Asset Management. Thank you.
Good morning all. Welcome to today's panel on content collaboration across borders. In an increasingly globalized world, creating and distributing content that resonates across culture and countries is not only a challenge but also an incredible opportunity. With the rise of digital platforms, social media, and cloud-based collaboration tools, content creators and brands now have the ability to collaborate seamlessly with teams located in different parts of the world. So, a quick fact: a study by McKinsey found that companies with international collaborations reported 30% faster revenue growth in global markets, emphasizing the role of cross-border collaboration in driving business success. It gives me immense pleasure welcoming our speaker guest today, Anisha Raina, CEO, One Asset Exchange. Anisha is an innovative leader in the film industry with years of experience from script to screen in Singapore television and movie production. She's passionate about pushing creative boundaries by leveraging technology and digital transformation. On a mission to empower industry creators to adopt a digital-first mindset, she helps them access borderless resources, capital, and opportunities. As the CEO of One Asset Movies, Anisha has successfully bridged the gap between filmmakers and investors. Absolutely. Democratizing not only film financing but also enabling digital-first approach throughout the production process. With a strong background as a market expert in fintech, digital assets, and central bank digital currencies, Anisha converges both worlds to make film financing more transparent, inclusive, and accessible to global audience. In addition to her work in film, she's a strong advocate for building a digital-first ecosystem, supporting cross-border collaboration through virtual production, and promoting fintech solutions to CBDC to reshape how creative projects are financed and realized. That's amazing, Anisha. That's quite a lot.
Thank you for the introduction. You saved me the self-introduction. Thank you so much. That's right.
And Sean, I know Sean from quite some time, and it's amazing that to meet you back again and reconnect. Sean, a creative mind whose journey through the entertainment industry spans over 25 remarkable years. For his early days working on edgy content of MTVs to becoming a director of cutting-edge films and shows, he has seen it all from working with the most prestigious houses. Sean has left a mark on music videos, commercial, and feature. So his directorial debut with Hide and Seek, a slasher thriller, signaled the beginning of bold new chapter. Indeed, bold. The slashers don't work so much over here, it's amazing. From there, he went on to direct the Tera Suru and produce a critically acclaimed rough book, all while showing an unerring ability to excel across genres and platforms. worked on many international projects with various foreign productions across the globe, not limiting his talent to films alone, but also making waves in television world as well. His current project is with Rock Films, diving into horror space. That's quite a handful. Pretty interesting after 25 years. That's amazing. Let's give a big hand to everyone and to the amazing panels that we have and some interesting conversations that we're going to have. So Anisha, I'm going to start with you. So I understand that Singapore positioning to be a global hub in media collaboration. So with an investments up to 55 million aiming at international co-productions, how will this fund create opportunities for creators to collaborate across borders?
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's in fact really amazing to see you and have this conversation. So I'm from Singapore, born and raised there. As she did the introduction, I've been in the scene since 15. So that in Singapore, the scene is so small that even the senior artists, they would have a full-time job and then they would work in film production or TV after hours. So that was the culture for the past 25 years until the television industry matured. So I think as a nation, we kind of understand our restrictions in terms of talent. We understand the restrictions because cost of living is really expensive there. And what we did was leverage on our strengths, double down on our strengths, which is infrastructure, telco infrastructure, technological infrastructure, and also stability of the ecosystem to be able to facilitate such innovation. That's where this fund comes in and doubles down on our strengths, being able to provide the state-of-the-art production equipment, facilities, and also the possibility to be able to fly in all the different talents to participate. And of course, you cannot second or discount the financial systems, stability banking, because when you do cross-border transaction, that needs to be seamless. Taxation needs to be seamless as well, because it would not make P&L sense if tax is really high on our side. So that's where our core strength is, and that's where Singapore doubles it out. And leverages on countries like India to bring in the talent and then co-collaborate amazing content together. So there are a couple of contents going up there, and a lot from the big houses in the US. And we're continuously looking to collaborate further with our cultural content as well. I'll share more as we progress, because I know you have more questions and I relate to the questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think that's very insightful, and we'll talk about it more. Coming to Sean, so you're a filmmaker, who have worked on international. So what strategies one can use for content to ensure its relevance culturally and to engage in different markets?
Firstly, good morning everybody, and thanks for having me here. It's a lovely morning, and I've just seen a lot of broadcasting stuff now. International projects, what happens is when you want to work with them, you have to have the right content in terms of their culture. It's very important you make stuff according to different cultures also, which you show our cultures and you also increase and see their culture. This is the most important thing when you get into content. Then you get into organizing, collaborations, productions. But most important thing is first you start from the basic scratch, which is what is your content all about. Then accordingly you put together two different companies together, and then you figure out the finances. So if you want to collaborate with different countries, you have to understand what is the germ that the audience that you are targeting. But that's very important. Because you can't just make any film and go to any country and say, this is my film. If I'm making a horror film, I can't go to Dubai and say, this is a horror film that I'm making, I want you to see it. They will reject it. So it's very important to know which country you're targeting, what is the audience you're targeting, what is the content you're making, and make sure your content is good for everybody so that everyone is profitable, everyone is making money, and everybody is happy.
Interesting. No, I agree to that, because the pulse is most important in terms of what are we trying to convey to the audience. The target audience is extremely important as well. So it's interesting. Anisha, coming back to you. taking forward on what you said, what other kind of projects do you envision benefiting from this initiative?
Plenty of different mediums.
And what is the process of collaborating also? That would be great for our audience to know as well.
It's a lengthy process. I think I would need to do a separate keynote on that and then bring down IMDA procedure. Yeah, but yes, a very short summary. To your first question, what are the different mediums of content that we can co-collaborate? Is of course, we do a lot of co-collaboration on hybrid concerts, hybrid conferences, especially big MNCs with global outreach, and they find it more cost-effective to direct virtual production sets to do unified conferences with each global heads in their respective companies, because they've got thousands. And then of course they repurpose their content for various benefits and various purposes as well. That's one from a corporate perspective. In terms of creative creation, whichever content requires a lot of outdoor shoots, very intensive setups, this is to also reduce social climate impact, yeah? In flying the entire crew down, filming, permits, visas are paying, and now with whatever is happening globally, flying sometimes is impossible. We have one of our teams was supposed to fly into Florida just last week, 2 weeks ago, and they were like, no, we are going. Nobody's moving. We canceled all the tickets, and then we booked a virtual production studio. The challenge there, I would have to add, is that the unwillingness of the artists, because you're so used to being on sets, and for them, and this is my opinion alone, I think, when the artists are more senior, they demand to be on set, but with the diversification and changing dynamics of distribution, where you have to be very careful about your ROI, you need to be very careful about your OPEX as well, costs as well. So virtual production makes more sense for very intensive, scenic intensive shots and everything. So that's the challenge in terms of back and forth, but it's all possible because technology is so advanced. We are able to connect the screens to the cameras, have multiple angles. It doesn't have to be as complicated as what you use for Avatar, likes of Avatar. And also, most importantly, bringing together the core technicians to be able to make it happen. Focus on the technicians and the talent as compared to being on the on-site, on location. So the focus shifts in creating the content rather than fighting with nature. I remember when I was 2 years ago, when I was producing my movie Fully Made in Singapore, as many of you would know, location cost is so expensive, and I was crying all the way home. So, everyday shoot is like, it's a luxury travel up and down. I would be crying. I said, you know what, guys, I can buy you location, I can buy you equipment, I cannot buy you daylight. Can you please finish the shoot on time? Because this kid, you got 10 hours of nightlight, that's it. But then again, switch. You go into a virtual production studio, you want 20 hours of nightlight? I give you 20 hours of nightlight. Do every angle you want. Give the artist every opportunity to retake, reshoot. So these are the plus points of shifting to a virtual production set. And I think this is going to pick up huge demand because producers see the demand, actors in demand, creators in demand, also see how it also helps them focus on their talent, on their creativity, and it also reduces their fatigue. So I think that's going to be the main driver towards virtual productions. I pivoted a little bit from your question, but it was all intertwined. Yeah.
No, that's insightful because there is a traditional way of shooting, and that everyone is kind of like so. Artists have their own ecosystem, and producers have their own ecosystem. Of course, the technology shift is something. The adaptation is what is taking a little bit of time, but yes, it's happening for sure. Yeah. So coming to that, What are the key factors to keep in mind?
I would just say that it's better shooting inside now because of the heat and all that stuff. All the actors are sweating and you're sitting and taking shots. Here it's all AC.
That's true, that's true. What are the key factors to keep in mind on cross-border collaborations as a producer and as a filmmaker?
Wow. The key factors basically, again, I produced a film called Rough Hook, which I took it all over the world, trying to see how it goes, because I wanted to take that route. I've been in the commercial cinema in Bollywood a long time. I wanted to try something different. So I made a very simple, student-oriented film and took it around, just to understand what works in the festival market. To a point, I realized even in the festival market, there is a whole broad, different target audiences, different categories. There's different. You can't just make any film and take it to a festival. I came to know that if the subject is about Indians and only about Indians, the festival world will not take it. It has to be an international culture mix. Which means today I took my film all over only to the Indian film festivals. I couldn't get into the Berlin, I couldn't get into TIFF, I couldn't get into any of these systems because the criteria was basically something which I didn't know about. But now, after going out there, I realized there's so much of vast things a director and a producer can do, provided you understand when you do collaborations, you know exactly what does the festival market want, what does the audience want, what does everybody out there want, what are the type of actors you need, the different culture related. You can't just get any big Bollywood star and say, okay, I can put a big Bollywood star in a film and become a big festival film. No, it doesn't work like that. International audience are totally different. They believe in culture. They believe in authenticity. They want to know a good technician. They want to know a good actor. So it's very important to get all these tick marks right before you get into the international collaboration because that is what they want. They don't want a fancy name. They want somebody with talent. And that's something I learned the hard way because I thought fancy names would get me everywhere. But when I entered that place, those people didn't even know the fancy names. So it's important to know before you start, again, you start from scratch. You understand your target audience, you understand what you want to do, sit on collaboration, get a good story, and then you go out there. And that's the thing I had to do when I had to go abroad and find out all the problems. These are small things a lot of people don't know in India. Everyone comes to me and says, oh, let's make a film and take it to the festival. I said, but it's not easy. It's not just you just put money in, make a film, shoot it, and then after you don't know what to do with the films. You are thinking you put it into a theater, you put it into a studio doesn't want it. Because your film is what the studio doesn't want, your film is what the festival doesn't want. So it's important to know who you want to send it to. Everybody is every time mixed confusion. Everyone thinks it's easy to make a film and just sell it. It's not like that. You have to know what you're making, who you're making it for, what is your budget, what is the selling point, everything. Then only can you get your things put together. So it's very important to know that, and I'm sure you knew some about it because you are also out there doing the same thing. You're all in it.
May I add from, I think I would like to complement what you said from an administration and governance perspective. Let's say both of us was to collaborate on a cross-collaboration India-Singapore. And you know, Singapore is very tight on administration, very tight on governance. So firstly, cultural sensitivity is very important. And respect to the country you're entering in terms of permits to apply for, behavior, and also administration adherence is very important. Because you know, when you go to a foreign country that's so tiny like ours, we thrive on governance, very strict governance, and that's why we are who we are. And creatives like to push boundaries and like to always be outside the boundary, and that gets them into trouble. So that's very, very important, and that you know, when now I'm on the producer side, on the finance and administration side. We emphasize that a lot. I have a small story to say. When I was making my movie in 2022, my sound and camera crew was fully Singaporean, and my creatives, my director, was all NRIs, all expats working in Singapore, South Indians. So. Of course, the sound cameramen, they are professionals, they adhere. Whereas these guys, they know you use your word jugaad. And there was once they did something, they didn't apply for a permit, and everything was on my name. And oh wow, that scene! It was we entered. I thought the permit was done. We entered a location. We started filming. It was like a construction site where you have all these heavy equipments. And we went. If that was the entrance, we were like filming here. It's all one. So I only knew very much later that there was no permit because I wasn't told there was no permit. They said, okay, all done in my friend's place. We unloaded and everything set up. My talent were all ready to go. And then the supervisor of the place did a Rajnikant move, in the excavator you took. And then you went to the entrance and you slapped it there. I was like, oh shit. If you call the police on me, that's it. And once you're blacklisted, you're blacklisted. I was like, oh my gosh, then I had to go and of course, everything well sorted. I gave him his Rajnikant moment and I gave him the, you are Taliban and all. Everything was good, but what I'm coming to at this point is that be respectful and mindful of the governance. That's very important. Before you go down, it's about Singapore, IMDA, the authority that gives all these permits, has everything, has the entire playbook, the checklist, all online. So what you, free permits, what you need to apply for. Same for Dubai. If you're, now creators are very inclined towards drone shots. If you go to Dubai, you have to have a Dubai licensed drone pilot. So, and even your equipment needs to be registered with the government first. So, I know, we always try to make things happen because we're creative, but this respect is very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was absolutely valuable point because I shot in Taiwan. So we were having three crews: Indian, Hong Kong, and Taiwanese. And before that, there were confusion in terms of like there was one as a labor visa, then one as a normal visa. So yes, so basically the idea is to kind of understand the law of the land where we are shooting in terms of collaborating and from taxation to what the government can also give strategically, and even the planning of the project can also be done that way in terms of knowing the rhythm of what is the kind of incentives that the government offers, and getting a little bit more detail and diving deeper into it. The project, it can really save also a lot of money as well, because then you know your numbers from, you're working as a reverse engineer. You know your numbers, you know what's kind of coming your way, and whether it's production, whether it's on ground, whether it's visas, all of those things. Yes. Respect is important, and the law of the land is absolutely important.
It's also good because when you shoot in a different country, the amount of respect they give you, you have to give them the same back. So today when we were shooting, like I was shooting in Dublin, they were so beautiful people over there. They gave us places for free. Like I shot in the Film Commission office. They said, you can please use it. I shot. Being in India, I rate that place, but that's a different thing. But the point is, when you're in an outside country, you have to be respectful, you have to be polite, and you have to abide by their laws. Then only will you understand that, okay, they will open all their doors to you just because you respect them. There are lots of people who don't do that. They just go shoot and then they expect, oh, so what? It's done in our country then.
Is the content, authenticity, so are the OTTs. So and that's why all of that is needed.
So there was also this thing I was just going through online. It's all the youngsters right now who are making content for YouTube and all. We're all going to ChatGPT, making a script, enacting it, putting their life. Everything is done through AI. They're editing it on the AI apps. They're creating content on the AI apps. They're making their background music on the AI. They're making their graphics on the AI. So AI is going to take over. There are pros and cons. That's there. I feel it is also wrong that a lot of technicians will not be having work also through AI. But that is the future. That's evolution. People will understand. People have to evolve.
Of course, there are divided opinions as well when it comes to writing, when it comes to, there were certain interesting opinions that I was like sitting at Davos, where we were discussing about the AI, and the divided opinions were that while it is a tool, but yet it has to, the human touch will always win. The soul is always missing somewhere.
So you're not going to lose your job to an AI bot. You're going to lose your job to a
the whole
human.
point.
who uses an AI bot. Yes.
Yeah, so you know, the magic of cinema is never going to go. The magic of viewing in a cinema is never going to go away. So I feel, and while AI is absolutely fantastic, it's just it's liberating our lives in many ways. But there are a lot of opinions that came that like the soul would be missing. If we were looking at the story or something, the human touch, or getting more granular, the soul is something that AI cannot, because eventually it is made by a human. Okay, so how do you see cross-border collaboration evolving in next 5 years? You go, Anisha.
Future in terms of, once again, finance-wise, global liquidity, access to global liquidity, being digital first, cross-border, and that is the enabler and the driver for cross-border collaboration. They're able to interact with somebody from the other side of the world, have your pre-production, your discovery, and even your test shoots before you come together to shoot, and basically focus more on just amplifying the greatness of both sides and telling a very beautiful melting-pot story, and we see lots of the content. It's like I said, in Singapore we double down on infrastructure and technology, and then we bring in what we lack, which is that amazing talent globally to produce that mega blockbuster. So it's a very complementary effect, and 5 years from now you're just going to see better quality of content that's based on good talent, good creativity, and in a good way, not so much celebrity power. Yeah.
So for me, the future is very good because I see a lot of cross collaborations. The company that I'm working for, Rock Films, is one of the companies which is going to be the next big thing in the next future, right? I'm sure it is, because we are a whole micro budget studio which is just coming out into the market, and we are using a lot of AI tech in it itself, and the future is all about collaborating. Like we are right now collaborating with Dubai, Singapore. I just spoke to a producer and a co-producer in Egypt. So the future is really bright. It's not like we're only stuck to making one type of cinema. We are open to the world right now in terms of culture. As Raju says, like you get ideas and you put it together and you sell it out there. That's perfectly what I would believe also, is because today if you have even small ideas, even if you have a germ of an idea, even if you get a full, you get an information from another shoot or another film or something, you can put it together, talk to an international company, put it out there like what we are doing right now, and things can happen in it. The future is great. There's a lot of collaboration. I can see a lot of collaboration with Africa, Egypt, America, everywhere.
And what's also interesting is that the countries also are coming forward with great incentives every year. In fact, India is kind of like reworked their incentive program and everything. It's fantastic, and Invest India is something.
In India itself,
and it's going up to 30 crores, which is about like 4 billion. That's amazing.
The incentive in India itself is so good that a lot of international companies are coming in here, a lot of Hollywood films are coming in.
And doing post-production.
All are doing it, and each and every state of India is giving rebates. So it's crazy. Like, you get to meet all the foreign technicians in Hollywood who come into India. A lot of people from Africa is coming into India. A lot of people from the Medina side, European side. Get to meet them, and then they tell you stories and they give you their type of understanding how they take films, and then we collaborate. It's crazy. For Indians, for us also, it's good to have them on board because you get to see new technology.
Absolutely. It's a knowledge exchange, it's a technology exchange.
Crazy, the ideas, it's madness. That's why the future is great, because we are open to the world and the world is open to us. So they're also going to learn how to make Bollywood films. They are mad. They want to know how we can break cars and how we can jump and things.
I'm sure they don't know how to dance.
They don't know. They don't know how to dance. That's why we are good, We go there and now you dance.
No doubt, this is the age of data, this is the age of content, and the biggest change that we've seen and I think it's not a change, it's a disruptor that we've seen, is that a consumer has become a creator. So everywhere, every nook and corner, we're seeing a consumer being a creator. Everyone is a creator in their own way. And with that, thank you so much, and thank you for being so patient, listeners. such wonderful audience. Thank you, Anisha. Thank you, Sean. And all the best. And we will continue to collaborate.
Yes, definitely. Happy to collaborate all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gulyani and our esteemed panelists. I would request Mr. Raj Kapoor to come on stage and present a token of appreciation to our panelists and moderator, please. Thank you.